Hello and welcome back to another live stream of Wingspan. Today we're going to be playing the Automa version of Wingspan Asia. So again, playing against the AI opponent. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle up the cards a little bit. This this version basically works the same as the base game, except this is the newest expansion, and they have this duet map or duet board where, and also these duet tokens. So when you play a bird, you take one of these tokens and put the bird in its place, and then you can put this token on this duet map and gain the bonus of it shown. So here you would gain an egg, here you gain a card. This is the grassland section, this is the wetland section, and up here is the forest. So the way it works for the Automa is if they have a card like this, where they discard the cards from the tray, or they play a bird, they also place a duet token on the map. And the round goals are different, and they're all based on the duet map as well. So for round one, we have duet tokens in the wetlands. For round two, we have duet tokens on food. And round three, we have duet tokens on pairs of matching symbols. And round four, we have duet tokens in any one horizontal row. So I'll shuffle up the Automa cards. And the bird cards and the bonus cards. So I do have the base game cards mixed in with the Asia cards. So those are the only two expansions shuffled in. So it's going to be the base game birds and all the Asia birds, which is a lot of birds. Just cut this deck. And the way the bonus card works for this Automa is you just have this avid Asian admirer card or the rare species lister card. So based on what difficulty you're playing on, I'm going to be playing on normal difficulty. So normal difficulty is eagle, and they're going to take birds. So if they play a bird, they'll be taking any bird worth 5, 6, or 7 points. They'll keep the lowest valued one for rare species lister, and for avid Asian admirer, the Automa keeps up to 2 of them and the lowest value first. So the other birds will get discarded. I believe that's how that works. So we'll just shuffle up these bonus cards, and then deal myself 2 bonus cards. And fill the tray. So in the tray we have the great spotted woodpecker, the sandhill crane, and the turkey or the black vulture. So I'm going to deal myself 5 cards. So the way the game starts is you get to keep 5 things between bird cards and food. So we'll take a look at the bonus cards that we got. So we have Forest Population Monitor and Small Clutch Specialist. So Forest Population Monitor is different nest types in the forest. So for 2 to 3 types, you get 3 points. For 4 types, you get 5 points. And for 5 types, you get 8 points. Small Clutch Specialist is birds with an egg limit of 2 or less. So you need 5 to 7 birds for just 3 points, and 8 or more birds for 7 points. So let's take a look at our hand and see what we want to keep. So we have the double-crested cormorant, the western meadowlark, the Himalayan monal, the blue-gray gnatcatcher, and the desert wheat tear. So I do have 2 different nest types already. I could get a forest engine going. I don't like this wetlands option. The double-crested cormorant is discard a fish to tuck 2 cards from the deck behind this bird. So you kind of need to have some way of supplying that bird to get the 2 tucks every time. So I don't think I'm going to keep that. The other option is Small Clutch Specialist. So birds with an egg limit of 2 or less. The Himalayan monal and the desert wheat tear. I think I'm just gonna keep. I think I'm gonna keep the blue-gray gnatcatcher, the western meadowlark, and I was thinking about keeping this Himalayan monal. But the Himalayan monal's power is when activated, all players gain a seed from the supply. You also lay an egg. So we would be getting a seed and an egg every time we activate the Himalayan monal. But since we're playing with the Automa's horde, we would be giving points to the Automa each time we give them that seed. So I think I'll just stick with the blue-gray gnatcatcher and the western meadowlark. So then we get to keep 3 foods. So we're gonna keep the forest population monitor. We'll discard the small clutch specialist. Discard these 3. So you always keep 5 things between bird cards and food. So I have 2 bird cards, so I'm gonna get 3 food. So they have to be different food. So I know I need a worm and a seed. And I can't take a second worm for this bird, but I know once I play the blue-gray gnatcatcher, I'll be able to activate it and get another free worm from it. So I think I'm going to keep, let's keep a cherry, and we'll start like that. So this is going to be a little different than the base game version. So in the Asia Duet mode, the Automa's turn, they will flip one of these cards, and basically this round tracker card along with this round tracker card will tell you where to position the duet, where to position the duet token on that board. So I'll explain it as I go, kind of. So we always go first against the Automa, so I'll go ahead and play the blue-gray gnatcatcher. So it's going to cost 1 worm. So I'll just put it here, and then we take this duet token, and the way this duet board works is you have to place this duet token either in the, I have to place it in the forest because that's where I played the bird, and then I also have to place it on something that corresponds with the bird. So I would have to put it on a worm or a bowl nest like this, or it could be beak pointing left, which would give me another food. And this is kind of where you want to decide or kind of pay attention to these end around goals. So the first end around goal is duet tokens in the wetlands. And the second end around goal is duet tokens on food. So I think I'm going to put this, I'll put it on this worm, and then if you can see this little die here on the duet board, that little die there means that we get another food from the bird feeder. So we'll take a worm, and now we can play our western meadowlark next turn. So this is going to be the first activation for the Automa. So we'll see what they're going to do. So they're going to take food from the bird feeder. So they're going to first remove rats, then fish, then cherries, then worms / seeds. So there is one worm seed that comes out. And they're also going to get a cube on the end around goal. So that's going to give them a, I believe that's how that works. Yeah, so they have another, so now they have one duet token in the wetlands. Okay, so back to me. I'm going to play the western meadowlark. So it has to go in the grasslands. It's going to cost a worm and a seed. So I'll take this duet token, pay the worm and the seed, and now I have to place this in the grasslands. Pay with, so I have to place it on something that I paid with. So I did pay a seed, so I could get this bonus of an egg, and I think I am going to do that. So we get to lay one egg, and I'll place it on the blue-gray gnatcatcher. Alright, so for the second turn for the Automa, they're just going to lay an egg. It's nice and easy. We'll just put the eggs here. And then it's back to me. So I kind of need a bird in the wetlands so I can start drawing some more cards. I was kind of hoping they would discard the tray so I could see something else come up. It might have to be the sandhill crane, because our western meadowlarks, when activated power, is all players lay an egg on any ground nest bird. You may lay an additional egg on an additional ground nest bird. So for that, to get the best benefit out of that meadowlark, we need a second ground nest bird. And since this sandhill crane is in the tray, I'm just going to go ahead and take it. So we get to draw one card, and now that's in our hand, and we'll refill the tray, and it's back to the Automa. So this is the Automasian Alliance, the special Automa card. So they are going to discard. It's the same as the base game, so they're going to discard all 3 cards from the tray. They're going to gain a face down card worth 4 points, and they're also going to place a duet token. So the way this works is, if you look at the way these 3 cards line up, So it shows for round 1. So you look at this marker here down here, and it will show you that cube with an X through it. So we're going to start where the cube with the X through it. We're going to start in the bottom right of the Duet board and work from right to left all the way up until we find, you go to the round 3, this cube with an X through it, until we find a star nest or any nest type, a wild nest type. So the wild just means any nest type, so it's be the first nest type you find. And then the final thing you need to look at here is this cube. So in the forest, this is showing the cube in the forest. So basically we're going to start here and just scan all the way up until the first nest type in the forest. So basically it's going to start here and you got to get all the way up to the forest, and it goes right there. So that's where they're placing their first Duet token. So that's kind of how the Automa works in the Duet mode. It's pretty confusing. It can be pretty confusing. It took me a while to learn it. So we'll go ahead and refill the tray, and it's back to my turn. And I need food, but I do like that common loon. So the common loon is players with the fewest birds in their wetlands draw 1 card. Okay, so we have 5 activations left. The common loon is also a ground nest, and I really don't like drawing a single card, but I think we just need to get this common loon down, or this red Avodat. Okay, so this is a wild nest, so this would also count for the western meadowlark. So the when activated power is give 1 card from your hand to another player. If you do, draw 2 cards. So if I would give the Automa a card from my hand, I think I would end up giving them 2 tokens. So I don't know if I want to do that. So I think I'm going to take this common loon, and that's the hand, and that's pretty much our turn's over. So we'll refill the tray and then back over to the Automa, and they're going to play birds. So with this avid Asian avian admirer card, they are going to, we're playing on normal difficulty, so the eagle difficulty, they're going to take all birds worth 3 or 4 points. So there is only 1 card in the tray that has 4 points, 3 or 4 points. So this Bobo Link, they're going to gain that face up for 4 points. And then they also place a Duet token. So they place Duet tokens when you see these 2 symbols are the only times that they place Duet tokens. So we also need to find out where they're going to place this Duet token. So I'll show this one more time. So if you line this up like that, it's showing that this is blank, meaning that there's no marker. So there's a blank section to the left here, meaning we're going to start going from the left to the right at the bottom. So we'll start here going like this and then up across that direction, and then looking for, so see this activate all pink powers, so that's what we have here. So we're going to find the activate all pink powers here, and it's going to be beak pointing left or right. So that is going to be the very first. Actually, no. So for then you have to look down here and see this cube. So then you look at the cube here and it says in the forest. So we are looking for starting here, going this direction up the board, looking for a beak pointing left or right in the forest. So it's going to be this location. And that just means that they're basically taking this bonus spot so that we can't get it, which sucks. But that's it for their activation. So we'll refill the tray, see what comes up. So the juniper titmouse comes up. And we also have the white-browed tit warbler in the tray and the red avidavet. So there are no fish. I know I want to get this common loon down, and there are no fish. I think what I'll do is, so I'll take my first food, I'll take a worm. And then we have the option here to discard a card for a second food. I don't know if I want to do that though. I don't think so. So we get one worm, and then we'll activate the blue-gray gnatcatcher. So the blue-gray gnatcatcher is when activated, gain one worm from the supply. So we'll gain another worm. And that's going to be it for us. So back to the Automa. They're also going to take food. And then if we had any pink powers, they would activate during the Automa's turn, which we don't have any pink powers. But anytime they take this food, if all the dice are the same or there's one left, you have to re-roll. And then take in the order that's shown. So first they would be taking rats, then fish, then cherries, then worm and seed. So we find the worm and seed. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. They're going to take all 3 of those. And then since we don't have any pink powers, it's back to me. And we're going to go ahead and force down this common loon in the wetlands. So the common loon costs a fish and any food. So we don't have a fish, but we're going to use this play a bird. So when you play a bird, you can use 2 of any food to equal 1 of any food. So we're going to use the 2 worms as a fish. And they don't have to be the same. I could use the worm and the cherry to pay for the fish. And then we'll use the cherry as any food. So we also take this Duet token right from the board, and we have to place this in the wetlands on something we paid for it with. So I think what I'm going to do is, and I'm not sure if you're allowed to do this, but the food cost of the bird does have a fish, so I am going to place it on that fish, which allows me to draw a card. So I'm going to draw the white-browed tit warbler from the tray, and then refill the tray, and it's back to the Automa's turn. So they're going to lay 1 egg. Just put this egg here, and then they'll also gain a cube on the end of round goal for round 1. So now they have 3 Duet tokens in the wetlands. Or no, sorry, they have 2, because they have none here and 2 cubes. Alright, so back to me. So I'm not too sure what I want to do here. We have this forest population monitor. This wild nest can count as any nest type. So we want to try to get 4 or 5 different nest types in our forest to get those points. So I think what I want to do is take food here. So I'll take a seed because I'm going to gain a worm from my gnat catcher. So we get 1 seed and then 1 worm. And that's going to be it for us. And back to the Automa, they're going to wipe the tray and gain another cube on the end of round goal. So they also gain a face down card worth 4 points. So that stinks. So we have 3 different power colors there in the tray. So this is what the Asia expansion does, is kind of mixes all the expansions together, I think. So they have teal powers, game end powers, pink powers, brown powers, white powers. So this black naped oriole is, if you used all 4 actions this round, gain 1 food from the supply, lay 1 egg on any bird, and draw 1 card from the deck. Now that would be at the end of every round that you would do that power. So something to keep in mind there. This is another Asian bird, so the smew is, when played, draw 4 cards, tuck 2 behind this bird, and add the other 2 to your hand. So every tuck is a point. So that's another good bird. I think what I want to do is play this white-browed tit warbler in the forest. So it's gonna cost a worm and a seed and our only egg. So we'll take the Duet token and place it in the forest. So I'm gonna look at the second end of round goals for So the second end of round goal is Duet tokens on food. So I think I'm gonna place this on the seed. I could place it on any nest type. I could place it here because the bird that we played has a wild nest. But I think I'm gonna place it on the seed. So that doesn't mean we gain a seed. You only gain a benefit if there is something shown here. So this egg, for instance, or this card and food in the forest. So that was our final activation. We played the white-browed tit warbler. And this is the last activation for the Automa in the first round. So they're going to wipe the tray. So discard all 3 cards from the tray. Gain a face down card. We'll refill the tray. And they're also going to place a Duet token. So they're going to be placing this Duet token on. So if we line this up, this is going to be activate all pink power. So starting in the top right of the Duet map and going left. So right to left. And then on a beak pointing left or right in the wetlands. So right to left. So I think it's going to be this one right here. So that's going to give them 3 Duet tokens. Oh, they're also going to lose a cube. from this X here. Let me just make sure I did this right. So they would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. So I think they should have 3. 1. So I think they should have 3 cubes, which is going to give them 4. So they're going to win the first round goal because we only have 1. So we'll wipe the tray again. Flip the round tracker over to round 2, as well as the other round tracker. And then we'll look for the card that we remove after round 1, this one. So this comes out of the deck, and then we shuffle this deck back up. And now we have to refill the tray. So it's been a while since I've played this Asia expansion for Wingspan, so if I make any mistakes, please let me know. I'm going to keep going here. So in the tray we got Volks Swift, the Eurasian Marsh Harrier, and the Logger-Headed Shrike. So I do like the Eurasian Marsh Harrier. This is another gambling type of bird, I think, in the Asia expansion. So when activated, up to 3 times draw 1 card from the deck. When you stop, if the bird's total wingspan is less than 110 centimeters, tuck them behind this bird. If not, discard them. So you can draw up to 3 cards, and as long as you don't break that 110 centimeter wingspan, you can get 3 tucks each time, each activation on this bird. So it's a bit of a gamble, but definitely a good bird. So I think I definitely need eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay some eggs. So I'll lay 2 eggs here. Just gonna move these up. So I'm gonna lay 2 eggs here, put 1 on the blue-gray gnatcatcher and 1 on the warbler. Then we'll activate the meadowlark. So all players lay 1 egg on any 1 ground nest bird, and you may lay an additional egg on another bird. So we're gonna get 2 eggs. So we'll put 1 on the meadowlark and 1 on the common loon. But with the Automa's horde, we have to give 3 horde tokens for each egg. Or it says gains and returns. Okay, so they'll gain 3 tokens for the egg. So just give them 3 tokens. Okay, and that's going to be our first turn. So first turn for the Automa, they're going to take food from the bird feeder. And again, there's only 1 left, so we have to re-roll. So we're taking worm, then seed first. So this one comes out, and we don't have any pink powers, so that's the end of their turn. Now, I think I'm going to take that Eurasian Marsh Harrier, and I think I'll spend an egg to draw a second card and take that that swift for the different nest type, and we could potentially get some tucks and extra food in the forest. So we'll discard the egg from the loon. So we're going to take both of these, and then players with the fewest birds in their wetlands draw one card. So we'll draw one off the top of the deck, and we get the rose ring parakeet. So when played, copy a when played white ability of one of your neighbor's birds. So the way that would work with the Automa, I'm assuming, is if when you play it, if there's a bird with a white power in the tray, you would be able to use that. So we'll refill the tray. And back to the Automa, so they're going to play bird. So they're going to take any bird worth 3 or 4 points. So both this logger-headed shrike and the yellow-headed blackbird. And it says the Automa keeps up to 2 of them, lower value first. So they're just going to gain the logger-headed shrike face up, and we'll discard the yellow-headed blackbird. Then we'll refill the tray, and the Automa places another Duet token. So they're going to place this token starting in the bottom right and looking for a beak pointing left or right in the wetlands. So that's going to be this right here. They're going to take that position, and now we can't use it. And that's pretty much it. So I need food. So I'm going to take food. I know I need this rat. And then we get a second food, so we know we're going to get a worm for the swift from the gnat catcher. So what else? I think I'll take this cherry, because then hopefully we can play this rose ring parakeet and copy.
Didn't get that. Could you try again?
So hopefully we can play this rose ring parakeet and copy this Indian peafowl or peafowl power. So all players draw 2 cards from the deck. You draw an additional card. So we'll take the rat, then we'll take the cherry. And then the warbler's power is for each bird in your forest with an egg on it, roll any 1 die. Choose 1 type of food you rolled and gain 1 of that food from the supply. So basically what that means is choose for each bird in your forest with an egg on it. So that's 2. We can roll any die. So we could even take from the bird feeder. So we could just take these 2 and roll them and then re-roll the whole thing. So we'll do that. And then of these 2 die that we roll, so we got a seed and a fish. So we'll choose the seed. And then we also activate the gnat catcher and we get a worm. So not bad, we got 4 food from that activation. So back over to the Automa, they're going to play another bird. So birds worth 3 or 4 points. So there are no birds worth 3 or 4 points, so they just gain a face down card worth 4 points, and then they place a token on the end of round goal. So they also place a Duet token here, and we're going to find out where. So it's going to start, and since it's blank, There is no symbol here. We're going to start where it's blank, so the top left of the duet board, working left to right, looking for a beak pointing left or right in the wetlands. So if there is no location, which they already took beak pointing left here and beak pointing left or right, or they took beak pointing left here and beak pointing right here, so there are no beak pointing left or right left in the wetlands. So pretty much they just don't place a duet token, which is good for us. And that's the end of their turn. I think I'm going to play this. I think I'm going to play this Swift. So it's going to cost 1 worm. Or do I want to play this parakeet while that Indian peafowl's in the tray? I think that's a better plan. So we'll use a seed. We'll take an egg off the meadowlark. And this is a when played power. So copy a when played white power ability on one of your neighbor's birds. So since we're playing solo against the Automa, I think we just copy a when played power from the tray. So all players draw 2 cards from the deck. You draw an additional card. So we're going to draw 3 cards here. So we draw the Great Horned Owl, the Great Cormorant, and the Cassin's Finch. So I like that Great Horned Owl. That's going to be really good. We're going to have 4 types. If we can get this Great Horned Owl and this Swift down, we're going to have 4 types in the forest. So since we played the... we also have to give the Automa 2 tokens for their card that they would have gained. Or they would have gained 2 cards. It says all players draw 2 cards from the deck. So they would gain a total of 4 tokens. So we'll give them 4 tokens. And then we place our duet token on in the in the grasslands. So I think I'm gonna put it on this cherry. Because the rose ring parakeet has the option of seed or cherry. Now we're going to move on to the Automa. So they're going to lay 2 eggs and lose a cube from the end of round goal. So we'll take this off, and that's going to put them down 1. And they have a total of 4 eggs. So it's back to us. We have 3 activations left. So I don't think I'm going to be able to play all these birds. So I think my plan is to play this Swift and just tuck most of these birds or some of these birds under the Swift to gain more points and more food. So I'll play this Swift in the forest for 1 worm and 1 egg we'll take from the warbler. And then we'll place our duet token in the forest on this nest type. Since the Swift has that nest type, we'll gain a food. We'll get the bonus food here, and forgot to re-roll these. Okay, and we know we need more rodents for this great horned owl, so I'm just gonna take the rodent. And it's on to the Automa's turn, so they're gonna do the exact same thing. They're gonna lay 2 eggs and remove a cube, but they don't have a cube, so it just stays the same, and it's back to us. So I could force down this great horned owl with the 2 rats and then a cherry and a seed as a rat. Don't know if that's worth it. I think I'll just gain food to try to get some of that food out of there. So I'll take a fish and a worm. And then we can activate the Swift, so we get to tuck 1 card from your hand behind this bird if you do gain a worm from the supply. So we'll tuck this. I think we're going to tuck this Cassin Sparrow to gain a worm. So that's another food and another point. And then for each bird in your forest with an egg on it, which is 1, you can roll any die and choose a food that you rolled. So we're going to get another fish. And then our gnat catcher gives us another worm. So we got food stockpiled now. And I'm going to just start. I know I want to play this great horned owl. Probably the marsh harrier. Maybe the cormorant. It is 6 points. We'll see. So the Automa is next going to discard all these cards from the tray. They're going to gain a face down card worth 4 points. We'll refill the tray. Now they place a Duet token. So the Duet token goes starting in the top left of the Duet map from this blank space, looking for a nest type in the wetlands. So the first nest type in the wetlands would be this stick nest here. So that's where they're going to place their token. And then it's back to our final activation for the second round. So I think what I want to do is play this great horned owl. So we'll pay, this costs, it's an 8-point bird, it costs 3 rats. And there's a trivia fact on here. So these strong owls can kill large prey, including skunks, cats, and dogs. So they're pretty big owls. So this is going to cost 3 rats. So we'll pay with the 2 rats. And then we will use a fish and a worm as our other rat. Oh, wait, I cannot play this bird yet. I need to lay eggs before I do that. So, fish, worm, and 2 rats. So we're gonna lay eggs first. Whoops. And we'll just lay 1 here. Let's put 1 here and 1 here. Then we will activate the meadowlark. So all players lay an egg on any ground nest bird, and you lay an additional egg on a ground nest bird. So I'll put 1 on the warbler because it has a wild nest, and then I'll put 1 on the meadowlark. So since we gave an egg there, I think the Automa gains 3 tokens. So we'll give them 3 tokens, and these tokens will basically just convert to points at the end of the game. So now it's the Automa's turn. So they're going to lay 2 eggs and gain a cube on the end around goal. So 2 eggs. And that's going to be the end of the second round. So we'll wipe this tray and reset it. Let's take a look at the... So they have 1 cube on their end of round goal, and they have no duet tokens on food. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we clearly win that one. Then we'll refill the tray. Go ahead and flip this round tracker over to round 3. Remove this card after round 2. We'll shuffle these up. And we're ready to start the next round. So in the tray we have the Asian coal. So it's a once between turns power. When another player takes the lay eggs action, this bird lays 1 egg on another bird with a stick nest. You may go 3 over its egg limit while using this power. So that's a pretty neat bird. You can start putting eggs on stick nest birds and go 3 over the limit. So you could have potentially 6 eggs on this bird. And I believe you can keep doing it with other birds too. You could go over the egg limit on other birds. So I think for my first turn, I'm just gonna play the Great Horned Owl that I wanted to play last round. So that's gonna cost me 3 rats. So I'll use the 2 rats and the cherry and a worm as the other rat. So 4 food. And it also costs 2 eggs. So we want to leave these eggs on our forest birds so that when we activate this warbler, we can roll more die and have more options for food. So I'll take both eggs off the parakeet, and we'll place our duet token on. So we're looking for, in round 3, pairs of matching symbols. So we don't have any matching symbols yet, I don't think, but let's put, we could get a matching symbol from the marsh harrier if we go on this stick nest here. So we'll place that there. There are no bonus, I don't think there's any bonus positions left on the duet map, so that's going to be our first activation. So over to the Automa for round 3. They're going to discard the cards from the tray. They'll gain a face down card for 4 points. We'll refill the tray, and then they place another duet token. So this duet token is going, we're going to start in the bottom left corner looking for a nest type in the wetlands. So it's going to be right here because that's the first nest type, and you don't work like this. You always work left to right and then up and then left to right until you find the right position. So second activation, so it is round 3. I do have two fish, and I think I want to get this cormorant down. So we'll pay the two fish and one egg. We'll take an egg from the meadowlark, and we'll place our duet token in the wetlands on this stick nest because the cormorant has a stick nest, and that's going to be a bonus. And it's also just gave us a pair of matching symbols, so we have a stick nest here as well as here, and we get to draw a card. So in the tray we have the bald eagle. So that's a when played power of gain all fish that are in the bird feeder. We have the black crowned night heron, which is discard one egg from any of your other birds to gain one food from the supply. Then we have the common myna, which is copy the when activated brown power of a bird in the grasslands of the player to your left. So we don't have a player to our left, so I think we would use any brown power in the tray for the when playing against the Automa. So I don't know if I care that much about any of those birds. I mean, both of these are 9 points, so a 9-point bird is good. We know we have access to food, so I think I am going to take this. Do I want this bald eagle or this night heron? I think I'll just take the night heron. And then we'll refill the tray, and it's back to the Automa. So they're going to, again, discard all 3 cards from the tray. So the Automa's turns go pretty quick here once you kind of know what you're doing. Oops. And clearly I don't know what I'm doing. So they're going to gain a face down card. We'll refill the tray, and they'll place a duet token. So they're going to place their duet token starting in the top right, looking for a food in the forest. So it would be this worm is the position they're going to take. Now it's back to us. So let's gain food here. We get to gain 3 food now. We have this really strong forest engine going. And we can re-roll this. Since we want to get this night heron down, maybe this marsh harrier, and possibly the sandhill crane. We know we need at least the fish and the rat. So when there's 1 die left, you can re-roll. So we'll go ahead and re-roll. And then we'll take 1 fish. Now we get 2 left. And we need a rat, but there's no rat. So we'll take a worm. And we'll take a cherry. Because why not? Then we'll activate this great horned owl. So when activated, look at a card from the deck. If it's less than 100 centimeters, tuck it behind this bird. If not, discard it. So we're looking for less than 100 here, so we get 26 centimeters. Then we'll activate the Swift so we can tuck a card from our hand. So I think we're going to get rid of, let's just get rid of the Marsh Harrier. It is only 2 points, although I do like that gambling power. So yeah, let's get rid of the Sandhill Crane. And that tuck is going to give us a worm from the supply. And then we can roll any die for each food or for each bird in our forest with an egg on it. So that's 3. So we'll take these 2 and just 1 from there. We'll roll all 3. So basically, since I got worm and seed, I can only choose between the worm and the seed. So I'll just take another seed since I have 4 worms, I guess. Then we'll gain another worm from the gnat catcher. So really got a good forest engine going. Getting a lot of food and points. So we got a point from the owl and the swift. So next is the Automa. We have 3 activations left. They're going to take food, so we do have to re-roll this. And they're first taking all cherries. So there is 1 cherry, and then we would be activating all pink powers if we had any. And we don't have any, so it's back to me. I think I'm just going to force down the black-crowned night heron. So the black-crowned night heron needs a worm, a fish, and a rat. So we're going to use the 2 for any 1 exchange using 2 worms as a rat. And this is going to go right here, so we know it costs 1 egg. And then we get to place our Duet token. So we'll take an egg off the swift, and we'll put our Duet token on. We want pairs of matching symbols, so we know we have a worm here. We'll go for another worm here in the wetlands. So that gives us at least 2 matching symbols. I feel like the Automa is a little bit difficult to beat here with this Duet map. They're just constantly placing tokens, and you also score points for your longest run of connected Duet tokens. And it looks like they already have 5, and I only have 2. So we'll see how it goes. So the Automas just took. Okay. 4. So the Automa just took a cherry. Now they're going to play birds. So they're looking for birds worth 3 or 4 points. So that's going to be both the black tern and the American goldfinch. And they will keep the goldfinch and will discard the tern and refill the tray. Then they're going to place a Duet token. So they'll place their Duet token. So it's going to be starting in the bottom right, looking for a food in the grasslands. So I believe it's going to be this rat here. And they're also going to lose a cube on the end of round goal, which they don't have one. So now it is our turn, and I think what we want to do is pick up this Sri Lanka blue magpie for 9 points. And it has a round end power of you may cash 1 food from your supply on each of your other birds. So that could come in really handy for us at the end of the game. So we'll take that. And we get 1 more. We'll just take 1 from the top of the tray, and we get the purple martin. Then we'll discard an egg from the gnat catcher, activating the night heron to gain a rat. And then the cormorant's power is when activated, you may move 1 fish from this bird to your supply, then roll any 2 die. If any are fish, cash 1 fish from the supply on this bird. So it says roll any 2 die, so we'll just take this worm and the one that's outside the feeder already and roll for fish. And we not get fish. And then players with the fewest birds in their wetlands draw one card. So we're going to draw another card. And we get the Eurasian Hoopoe, which is a when played power of steal one worm from each of your neighbors. Each neighbor from whom a worm was stolen may gain one food from the supply. So we'll go ahead and refill the tray. That's going to be the end of our turn, and we got one activation left in round 3. So the Automa is going to take this fish and then activate all pink powers. We don't have any pink powers, so it's back to me. And I think I'm going to play this Sri Lanka Blue Magpie. Now this is going to disrupt our getting 5 nest types for forest population monitor. So we have 4. But once we play this Sri Lanka Blue Magpie, it's going to be 2 bowl nests, so we won't be able to get the 5. But it's still 9 points, and we have a good forest engine, so why not just get a bunch of food and cash it on my other birds? That's kind of what I'm thinking. So we're going to play this Sri Lanka Blue Magpie for this cherry, rat, and worm. Oh wait, we cannot play this. We don't have 2 eggs. I just did that again. So I guess we're laying eggs. So we gotta lay 3 eggs. And just put them like this. And then activate this meadowlark, so all players lay 1 egg on any ground nest bird. So we'll lay 1 here, and we lay an additional 1 on another ground nest bird, so we'll put 1 here. And then we have to give the Automa 3 tokens. So their points are just stacking up over here. So they have 1 activation left, and they're going to play birds, but there are no birds worth 3 or 4 points in the tray, so they'll just gain a face down card. They also gain a cube. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any more cubes on the end of round goal, so they do have 1 here. And then they're going to place a duet token, so we're starting in the top right, looking for a nest type in the grasslands. So going this direction, this would be the first one, and that's going to wrap up round 3. So they have, let's look for matching symbols here. So they have 1 matching symbol here, they have another matching symbol there, so that's 3 matching symbols. And we have do we really not have any matching symbols? It looks like we just have the 1. Okay, so we have this stick nest and this stick nest, and this worm. So we do just have 2. And I think I said 3 for them, so then they win the end of round goal. Kind of a bummer. Alright, so I'm back now. One thing I will say about the design in this game is they did use yin and yang for these symbols, so you would think they match together, and you could. Now I have no idea where these were. But you would think they could go together, and they don't. So if once you take a position on this duet board, you can't place your duet token on there with the Automa or whoever you're playing against, which is kind of weird, I think. But moving on, so that's going to be the end of the third round, so we'll wipe the tray unless I already refilled, I cannot remember. And then flip this round tracker to round 4. And shuffle these Automa cards. So the fourth end of round goal is in any one horizontal row. So duet tokens in any one horizontal row. So the Automa has 4 in this one horizontal row. So we have 3 in this upper row. So if we can get some more in that upper row, which I think we could really only get one more, we can only play one more bird in the forest. So I'm not sure how we're even going to compete with that, but I'll try. So I'm just gonna look at this discard pile. So I don't think I did wipe this tray. So I'll go ahead and change out the tray and we'll refill it. And we got the rook, the red jungle fowl, and the prothonotary warbler. It's a nice 8-point bird, goes in the forest or the wetlands. So we're up first here, and I want to play this Sri Lanka blue magpie, and I'm pretty sure I didn't take my food back when I thought I could play it. So now we're gonna play it and pay the 2 eggs. So that's gonna go here, and that's gonna give us a round end power. So ideally you want to play these round end powers earlier in the game so that you can use them at the end of each round. So we'll only be able to use this one time because it's the 4th round and there's no rounds left, but at the end of the round we will be able to cache 1 food from your supply on each of your other birds. So we want to be stockpiling food and have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 food in our supply, because that's going to be another 9 points. So we'll go ahead and place this duet token, and right now we can tie this end of round goal by placing this right here. So first activation for the Automa is going to be lay 3 eggs and place 1 cube on the end of round goal. So now they have 5. So I'll take one of their cubes, put that here, and it's back to me. So I don't think I have the turns to pick up this prothonotary warbler and play it. That's 2 turns, and then I only have 3 activations left. I might be able to do that. I'll try it. So I'll draw 2 cards here. I'm gonna pick up this warbler, and we'll draw 1 blind off the top of the deck, and we get the red-winged blackbird. So a 2-point bird. It's a better bird to start with. It's kind of late for that. So we're gonna discard an egg from any of our other birds to gain any food from the supply. And I think we'll take a rodent. And then you may move 1 fish from this bird to your supply, then roll any 2 die. So no fish, no cash. And then players with the fewest birds in their wetlands draw 1 card. So we draw the gray cat bird. It's a 5-point bird, same brown power as the mockingbird. So repeat a brown power on another bird in this habitat. So we've got to refill this tray, and then the Automa is going to do, they're going to lay 3 eggs and get another cube. So they're stockpiling points over here. So 3 eggs and 1 cube. So now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 duet tokens in any one horizontal row. So next, I think I'm going to take food. And then with my last 2 actions, I want to play these 2 birds if I can. I know likely not going to have enough food to cash on all these birds, but I still think it's worth it to get these 2, this 7 and this 8-point bird out. So we'll give it a shot. We know we need a worm. So we have the worm. We need a worm for the warbler. We'll take a worm. Then we'll re-roll. See if we can't get some more worms and a rat. So we'll take another worm. And we'll take the fish. And we do have the option at the end of the board here to gain a 4th food if we discard a card from our hand. So I think I am going to do that. So I'll discard this Marsh Harrier and we'll pick up a seed. Now we skip over this because this is a round end power, and we'll activate the Horned Owl. So look at a card from the top of the deck. If it's less than 70 or 100 centimeters, tuck it behind this bird. So it's 33 centimeters, so we get another tuck. And then tuck one from your hand, so we'll tuck this Purple Martin, and we'll gain a worm from the supply. And then for each bird in your forest with an egg on it, roll any 1 die. So we'll roll 1 die here and we get another worm. Then we gain another worm from the blue-gray gnatcatcher. So we got a good amount of food here. We got 2 activations left. Automa. They're going to take any birds worth 3 and 4 points. There are none, so they're just going to get a face down card and a cube. And then they will place a duet token. So they're looking for, they're starting in the bottom left, looking for a beak pointing left or right, which I think they're all taken, but it says in the forest. So yes, they are all taken. So they do not place a duet token, which is very helpful. And it's back to us. So I could just do some quick math here. This Prothinatory Warbler is 8 points, minus the 2 eggs. So it's 6 points. Or I could lay 3 eggs plus 2 here, which is 5, and I'd be giving the Automa some points. So I am just going to play this Prothinatory Warbler here in the wetlands. So it's going to cost me 2 eggs, 2 worms, 1 seed. And we'll place this duet token in the wetlands on this nest type. That's pretty much, well, we could do this seed as well. I don't really see how it makes a difference. I kind of would like to connect this run because we get points for the longest continuous run. But yeah, we're gonna have to go with this cavity nest or whatever. Now the Automa is going to, this card was supposed to be removed after round 3, so then this card, they're gonna discard all 3 cards from the tray. You're gonna gain a face down card, refill the tray. then they'll place another duet token. So they're looking for the top left, starting in the top left corner, looking for a food type in the grassland. So that's going to be right here. And then it's back to us. So we do have we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 food here. And if we play this Eurasian hoopoe, we would be using these 2 worms and this rat. And then we would gain a worm back. Because we get to, when played, steal a worm from each of your neighbors. Each neighbor from whom a worm was stolen may gain a food from the supply. So we're going to be giving them 1 token, and it's a 7-point bird. So I do think that's worth it. I think it's better than laying the eggs and giving them the 3 tokens. So we'll play this. Final activation, we'll play this Eurasian hoopoe for 2 worms and a rat and 1 egg. So we have no eggs. So when played, steal 1 worm from each of your neighbors. Each neighbor from whom a worm is stolen may gain food from the supply. So we just take a worm from the supply there, and then they will gain a token. Now we'll place this duet token. It's got to go in the grasslands. So we can put it... Wow, I wish that bird was bigger than 50 centimeters. Oh, wait. That's less than 50 centimeters. So we can go on the less than 50 centimeters and get the 1 egg. And just put it on our board. And now the Automa takes their last action, where they're just going to take all 3 of these cards from the tray, gain 1 face down card. We're not going to refill the tray because the game's over. And then they're going to place their last duet token if possible. So we're going to start in the bottom left and look for a food type in the forest. So it's going to be this rat here. They're going to place their duet token right here. And that's going to be the end of the game. So we'll tally it up and see how I did here. Okay, so I think we have 62 bird points. And then we'll look at the bonus cards. So for the different nest types, we do get the 4 types, so we get 5 points. For the end of round goals, oh, we did not score this one. So in any one horizontal row. They have 4 here in this horizontal row, 5, 6, and 7. Hold on, they would have lost a cube here, so they would have 5. And I think they still win, unfortunately, because we have just the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in this row, and then they have the 4, 5, 6. So we lose the end of round goal there. So we'll add our points. We have 7. And we have 1 egg. Oh, I did forget to do my end of round power here, so go ahead and just cash all this food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 cashed food. Tucked cards we have We have 2 behind the Great Horned Owl. So that's 5 right now. And that's it. So we have 5 tucked cards. And then duet tokens in the largest contiguous group. So it looks like we just have 3. That's the largest continuous group. So 3 points there. So we'll add all that up, and it's going to be 62. So 89 we get. And then we will add up the Automa's points here. So they're going to get 4 points for each face down card. So 44 plus 10. So they get 44 and 10. End of round goals, they're going to get 7 as well. They have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 eggs. These tokens, every 4 tokens is 1 point on normal difficulty. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and these don't matter, so 3 points for their tokens. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 duet tokens in the largest group. So then it's 54 plus 14. So this is going to be 60 or 50. So 84. So we do win 89 to 84. It was a pretty close game, but we win by 5. So pretty good game. But that's going to end the stream for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.